Hey everybody, Jason Burmis here. And first of all, I want to wish everybody a happy holiday, a Merry Christmas. It is Christmas Eve, and we're going to talk about Deep State Joe. We're not going to talk too much about Zombie Joe, who's the guy in front of us right now, who's a picked out puppet, and we should really be ashamed that we have allowed a predator class establishment to force this joke and sick joke upon us in the way that they have. There was no challenges to what was actually going on in the primary, especially after Pete Bootlicker, and you can go back to my videos then. Won that, what was it, the Iowa caucus? I may be wrong on that one, which one exactly he won, but when he was coming out on top, I said something's not right then. You know, that doesn't seem right at all. That they took this mayor from Indiana, this Rhodes Scholar, this military intelligence guy, and they somehow were boosting him against, people that had a clear following, like Tulsi Gabbard, while actively and in many ways successfully suppressing her and her message throughout these debates where the man behind me, in many cases, could barely speak about record players and, basic things. And yet here he is. Here he is, guys. It's happening. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to play a clip, of Zombie Joe. But in light of this news that we're going to go over today of Omar Saeed Sheikh now being cleared by a second court, cleared by Saudi Arabia, now cleared by Pakistan in the beheading of Daniel Pearl. How are you going to tie that back to Zombie Joe? Well, Zombie Joe is calling people, one-horse ponies, okay? And we've already had the dog-faced pony soldier incident, and we go on and on and on and on about Joe and his cognitive ability. Now, somebody basically asks him about what happened to his ankle or his, leg breaking or whatever happened with the dog incident that they put out there where he just disappeared, alluding to maybe there's something else to that. And he's like, man, you're a one-horse pony. So we're going to play that, but then we're going to show you a different Joe Biden. We're going to show you Deep State Joe, Joey B, if you will. When Joey B was on the scene big time, he was pushing an agenda all the time, much like you see like Andrew Capo Cuomo doing now. And that's why Joey B was featured in my film Invisible Empire, A New World Order Defined, because he actively helped cover up the Pakistani funding in 9/11 and the intelligence ties there. And we will prove it beyond a reasonable doubt today, live and exclusive here right now on Rockfin, but we'll probably put this up for the replay over at YouTube in its entirety because a lot of people in my audience have no idea that this exists, especially some of the newer people that are in there. So, thumbs it up, subscribe, share. You guys know the drill. Could not do this without you. You guys are the base in this. So we got the GoFundMe, $5, $10, $15. Make sure that you at least have the free Rockfin account. I think I may do a Christmas broadcast tomorrow. It may not be at 11 a.m., but at sometime I may do a Christmas broadcast over at the Rockfin or give you guys something over at the Rockfin for Christmas. So make the free account at the Rockfin. This is where I will be if I get deplatformed by Joe Biden and his people. Because Joe Biden, I don't know that Joe Biden could operate a YouTube video on his smartphone. I'm serious about that. I think there would be some problems. Like, where's the YouTube app? How do I press the screen? Those things could be issues for the current Zombie Joe that's before us. So they're not going to censor me on Rockfin for this. Go make your free account. Join us at 11 a.m. Monday through Friday. We do it live, and we do it here exclusively. We cut 2 parts out yesterday. I think I might even put the 3rd part out with Steve Poikonen. But if you are a premium subscriber, you can right now get exclusively a very Action for Assange holiday special. Please Go check it out because I know a lot of you guys are subscribers. All the documentary films, including the one that we're going to sample today, Fabled Enemies, which exposes Joe Biden, they're free. They're right here, right now, in the documentaries playlist section. You can't miss them. Shade the Motion Picture, Invisible Empire, A New World Order Defined, Fabled Enemies, and Loose Change Final Cut. They're all there right now. So after this, why not check them out as well? Okay, let's get into it. Who's that one horse pony we all love, huh?
Do you still think that the stories from the fall about your son Hunter,
Oh, Hunter,
disinformation and a smear campaign, like you said?
Yes. God love you, man. You're a one-horse pony.
God love you, man.
Thank you.
You're a one-horse pony.
I promise you, my Justice Department will be totally on its own, making its judgments about how they should proceed.
So he's asking about Hunter Biden. It's the I was incorrect. See how I get things incorrect, and I'll say I thought it was about the fall. I could barely hear the journalist the first time I heard it. When he said fall, I thought he was talking about his fall. So no, he's talking about the Hunter Biden story. One-horse pony. He's a one-horse pony. That's the guy that, has been selected, apparently. He's the dude. All right. So this was in the news, back in November, a little under a month ago, talking about, how although, he's very pro-China, he may be able to negotiate with Pakistan because of his past. Now, this is in the news today. Pakistani court orders release of British Islamist militant jailed for decapitating U.S. journalist Daniel Pearl. Now take a look at this guy, all right? So if you don't understand who Daniel Pearl is, he, being portrayed as a British Islamist is very, very misleading. That is what an intelligence operative looks like. That's what an intelligence operative looks like. Now, this guy was convicted in a court in the very early days of the War on Terror in the very first public beheading video. If you look over my shoulder right now, that is Daniel Pearl right there. Okay? There he is. And, they made him read these things. This is a still. This is what they were putting out. It was all over newspapers. Okay? So, this guy was sentenced to death. But when you see the ties that he had, and how this same guy, okay, I'm going to show you him again all the way back 20 years ago. Okay, Omar Saeed Sheikh, he facilitated a payment the week before 9/11 from the head of the Pakistani ISI. Now, the ISI is their CIA, and it was essentially created out of post-World War II world, with the help of British and U.S. intelligence, and then those ties, especially with U.S. intelligence, strengthened during, the Soviets and Afghanistan. And that's when they were running their network with bin Laden. We're going to show you all of this. And Joe Biden is meeting with the guy that wired that $100,000 to Atta, not the middleman, this guy who's getting out, and, brags about it. We're not going to show the part of bragging because that's a whole separate video. He brags on television 4 days later. We've done that video. But we're going to show you how the actual deep state works with a section from Fabled Enemies. So without further ado, let's do it live, and here we go.
Confirmation of these allegations against Israel would finally come in January of 2008, when the Times Online would tell FBI whistleblower Sibel Edmonds' story. This Turkish translator for the FBI found an international spy ring that included Israel, Turkey, and Pakistan working with household names within the United States. She was gagged and to this day has been unable to tell her entire account.
Now, later on, because this is a film from 2008, I will encourage everybody to check this out. She did give her full testimony, which was extremely frightening, and again, is largely suppressed to this day, with a guy named Brad Friedman, who I used to do Dangerous Conversation a lot with, through Scott Ledger. Rest in peace, Scott. Miss you. I really wish you were around this holiday season. I'm not going to get too teared up, but boy, what a great guy Scott was. Brad Friedman, progressive left guy. This is back when the left was very anti-war. He's still around, by the way. I'm not trying to throw stones at Brad. He's one of those guys that at least have a conversation with you, which I enjoy. So yeah, Brad, he got all that on the record. It's like 8 hours of testimony. So that's out there right now.
Edmonds stated that one high-level official was aiding foreign operatives against U.S. interests by passing them highly classified information, not only from the State Department, but also from the Pentagon, in exchange for money, position, and political objectives. The article stated that the Turks and Israelis had planted moles in military and academic institutions which handled nuclear technology. The Pakistani operation was led by General Mahmoud Ahmed, then the ISI chief. Intelligence analysts say that the members of the ISI were close to al-Qaeda before and after 9/11. Ahmed was accused of sanctioning a $100,000 wire payment to Mohammed Atta, one of the 9/11 hijackers, immediately before the attacks. Oddly enough, General Ahmed would be in Washington, D.C., meeting with George Tenet, the current director of the CIA, and others, in the weeks before the attacks. In fact, on the morning of 9/11 itself, he would be having breakfast with Senator Bob Graham and Porter Goss. These two men would co-chair the initial congressional investigation, and Goss would later become the head of the CIA.
I was trying to make the point that Ahmed didn't hide the fact, when we met with him in Pakistan and when he was in Washington, that he was close to the Taliban, that was his job, to be close to the Taliban.
Graham would go on PBS and have this to say.
I was surprised at the evidence that there were foreign governments involved in facilitating the activities.
Now let me stop that. You notice that he says foreign governments. All right? So right there, he's acknowledging at least more than one government. And when they finally do, declassify the majority of those 28 pages, it all points to the Saudi involvement. But obviously, he's sitting there talking about the Pakistani involvement 15 years ago almost. I think that's probably for a clip from like 2006 or 7, tops. We put this out in 2008. And don't worry, Joe Biden's going to get his spot. And again, this was when he was running for the presidency that we got a piece of this interview. And then Luke got him again, got him twice later on. And that's when Biden's just like, it's classified. But we'll continue.
Of at least some of the terrorists in the United States. I am stunned that we have not done a better job of pursuing that to determine if other terrorists received similar support, and even more important, if the infrastructure of a foreign government assisting terrorists still exists. Most of that information is classified, I think overly classified. I believe the American people should know the extent of the challenge that we face in terms of foreign government involvement.
In that report, 27 pages would be completely redacted.
Again, they have unredacted.
And do you think that will ever become public? Which countries are talking about?
It'll become public at some point when it's turned over to the archives, but that's 20 or 30 years from now. We need to have this information now.
Are you suggesting that you are convinced that there was a state sponsor behind 9/11?
I think there is very compelling evidence that at least some of the terrorists were assisted, not just in financing, although that was part of it, by a sovereign foreign government.
The day after the attacks, it was apparent that some people within the government were aware of the Pakistani funding of al-Qaeda.
Secretary Powell, one country you didn't mention was Pakistan, and I understand that your deputy has spoken with the ambassador to Pakistan.
Deputy Secretary Armitage did meet with Pakistani officials today. It would be useful to point out to the Pakistani leadership at every level how helpful they might be if we find a basis to act upon that information.
Senator Joe Biden, who had also met with the head of the Pakistani ISI, would have harsh words on the Senate floor.
And the word should go out to those who pretend that they wish to be our friends, that they're going to have to make some very difficult choices. Pakistan in particular is going to have to make a very difficult choice very soon. Words will not be sufficient. Actions will be demanded.
When Biden was confronted, he confirmed his meeting with Ahmed, saying Pakistani intelligence was indeed funding the Taliban.
Sir, one question. In the days following 9/11, you met with the head of Pakistani ISI, General Muhammad Ahmed. It has since come to light that he ordered Saeed Sheikh to wire $100,000 to Muhammad Atta. Why was he allowed to go back to Pakistan, and why wasn't he questioned, and why were you meeting with him?
I met with him to deliver a message that if he didn't stop supporting the Taliban, we would take him out.
Why did we let him go? We let him fly freely. We never investigated him. We never even looked into him.
Look, there's a thing called diplomatic passports. We did not arrest Khrushchev when he came.
But he financed the hijackers, and you let him go, and he's free. He hijacked the hijackers.
No one knew he financed the
hijackers. It's wired. It's reported.
Look how much sharper Joey B was then. Like I say, get a life. We did not arrest Khrushchev. Well, he came. So this guy, again, Deep State Joe, so you understand, is a part of the cover-up of the funding of 9/11. And again, Omar Saeed Sheikh is an intelligence operative that at the height of the war on terror was not only funneling these guys money, was there to instill fear in people by beheading a journalist. You see how this works? Do you get it? And here Joe is going to tell you that it's classified. You ready for Joey to tell you all about the classified?
He would later state that the information was indeed classified.
How did you know the ISI was helping the Taliban, sir? How did you know they're helping them? It is classified?
Pakistan was set up as the silent funding arm of the hijackers. They were used as a launching base for the occupation of Afghanistan. To review, we have just learned that many of the hijackers had ties to U.S. military installations, the FBI, and the CIA, that both Israel and Pakistan have classified roles in 9/11 to this day, and the man who co-chaired the initial investigation into 9/11 stated this information would be classified for at least 20 to 30 years. Virtually none of this information was in the 9/11 Commission report.
I'm just going to leave it there. Ladies and gentlemen, that's our show. It's short, it's sweet. It shows you who Joe Biden used to be, because right now he's talking one-horse pony soldiers. Okay, he's talking one-horse pony soldiers. That's pretty much it. Okay, that's where we're at. So guys, if you can, $5, $10, $15, you mean the world to me. Big donors, need you now more than ever. Definitely going back to DC. I'm going to try to pump a couple videos out on this Christmas Eve on top of everything, but I want to spend some time with my family. I hope you're spending time with your family. You're pushing back. You are the great resistance. If you are watching this on the replay on YouTube, thumbs the video up, subscribe, and share. Remember, we did it live, like we do at 11 a.m. Monday through Friday, every day over at Rockfin. Make the free account so you can watch this stuff free, and then premium members get other cool exclusives like the Action for Assange holiday special. If you want a good hour, there's a good hour over there right now. And of course, we archive stuff there. You know, all the stuff's free for about 2-3 days, sometimes even a week. And then we make it premium, the exclusive stuff. So again, thank you for all the premium members. Go check out the rest of Fabled Enemies. Learn about 9/11. Check out Loose Change Final Cut, Invisible Empire, A New World Order Defined, Shade the Motion Picture. Guys, I love you. Thank you so much. And I'll see you on the flip side.